Welcome to the October 12th, 2021 City of Broussard Council meeting. Please silence your cell phones, and if anyone from the audience would like to comment on an item listed on the agenda, please fill out a blue card located at the back of the room and turn it into our city clerk. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 5 minutes. Please rise for the pledge. Councilman Garrett, would you lead us in prayer?
We, the members of the Broussard City Council, beg of thee, Almighty God, to enlighten our minds so that our work will be just and fair in all things. Give us the courage and strength to fulfill our duties according to the laws of the land, and fulfilling also thy holy will on earth and in heaven. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Item 2.1, acceptance of the minutes of the September 28th, 2021 meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I move.
The minutes were provided in the council packet. Tina, is there any public comment?
No public comments.
Is there any council discussion?
District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large?
Yay.
Motion carries.
Item 3.1, variance request to ordinance number 18-258 for proposed building located at 6830 Ambassador Caffrey Parkway. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move. I'll second.
Mr. Ben Terrio is here to present tonight. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you. So this is, the ordinance says any building in the city has to be built a foot above base flood elevation and a foot above the most adjacent roadway. The building that's proposed on this property, it's right adjacent to Ambassador Caffrey. There's a large elevation change. There's a coulee next door, right next to, on the property adjacent to it. I've looked at everything. I've discussed it with Walter Como, the city engineer, Mel, the public works director. We all agree that a variance is okay. He's above the base flood elevation by 1.5 feet. He's just going to be lower than the most adjacent roadway. And so, Ambassador Caffrey. It's a commercial building. He's about 150 foot off the Ambassador Caffrey. But he still meets FEMA's requirements of being a foot above base flood elevation, like our higher standards. It's just the adjacent roadway, which, because we have two requirements. One is to be above base flood elevation, and one is to be above the most adjacent roadway. But because of the high elevation change in between Ambassador Caffrey right there and his property, he would have to come up another, I think, 20 inches with his 20 inches. And he's already 1.5 feet above base flood elevation. So that would put him about 3 foot above base flood instead of allowing him to be 1.5 feet above base flood. The Cypress Bayou is right adjacent. It's on this property. So he's going to, yes, sir. So, the water's going to get out. So, he's going to be above base flood elevation. I don't think he's going to have any issues. He wants a variance. I think that we could give him a variance if y'all deem, but it's got to be a hold harmless.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yes, we would require that. And I spoke to the property owner. He said he was okay with that at the time, so.
Walter, you have any issues with that?
Not at all. The idea of a foot above a road, if you have a coulee or drainage crossing a road can become a dam. So we want to be higher than the dam, right? In other words, if the water piles up against the road, starts going over the road, we want the structure to be higher. In this case, he's downstream, the land's falling away towards the coulee. So this is an easy variance or a waiver to grant, in my opinion. he has to meet the FEMA requirement. We can't waive that. But the other one is, it's good in some cases, it's good in most cases, but in some cases it doesn't make sense. And this is one of them.
So it is the recommendation, of the city to grant the variance,
That is my recommendation.
and the
yes.
city engineer agrees with that.
Correct.
Any further council discussion?
Question.
I just had one comment.
Yes, sir.
The recommendation is subject to the whole office being signed, right?
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
District two,
Yes.
District three,
Yes.
District four,
Yes.
District five,
Yes.
District six,
Yay.
at large,
Yay.
District one. Yes. Motion carries.
Item 3.2, report from, Police Chief Vance Olivier. Welcome, Chief.
Since I've been in, we had a couple of complaints of some street level narcotics dealings, as well as some criminal activity in some of the streets over here. So on October 1st and 2nd, we conducted an operation, worked in conjunction with the sheriff's department. They provided three marked units and some undercover guys in unmarked cars. And we did a pretty successful, or we were pretty successful, I should say, on our operation. That night in a 2-day block, 4 hours each, so in an 8-hour totals for the weekend on that Friday night and Saturday night. We ended up making 21 contacts with suspects, made 4 arrests. Pretty significant. One of the arrests we made was 14 grams of suspected methamphetamine and 15 Adderall pills with it. So we charged him possession with intent to distribute and of Schedule I drugs. The sheriff also allowed us to book them in. Traditionally, right now, under the COVID standards, we having to get clearance for them guys to get in. He made an effort to let us book in anybody that had significant amount of drugs, so that was a plus for us, because in the past, they kind of going out there, getting a ticket and thinking, hey, that's it, you know, so we put a little pressure on them. We was able to get a second, actually, on the same night, was pretty busy. We ended up with 2 more arrests, with 42.5 grams of suspected marijuana, 2 grams of suspected marijuana wax, $1,800 in cash we seized, along with 2 firearms. And then the third night, we picked up one of our locals over here who's behind the police station, Andrew Roy. He was kind of a target that we had in mind. He had a warrant for him, ended up picking him up with the warrant, and also he introduced some narcotics into the jail, so we charged him with an additional charge. He just got out recently, but I am meeting with the DA's office on Friday of any violent felony offenders that we have, so he's been the one to make sure that we get them on track to get him prosecuted on the charges that we had. I'd like to thank the mayor for coming out that night. He got to see a little bit about what we did, and I think it's important that we stay on top of any of the complaints that we have. So I'm going to continue doing this. You know, we're not just going to let up and do it a one-time thing. We saw a lot of traffic going to the ShopRite, so that's pretty. With the lieutenant of narcotics, Craig Benoit, they did a fantastic job in providing us with those guys and with unmarked cars, and they were really excited about doing it. And we had, you know, I think we made an impact that night because they sure were talking on the street, got some feedback. So that's what we want to kind of keep doing, is keep the pressure on them. So I just want to let y'all know what a great job we did that night, and the police department is continuing to work to, you know, stop crime and to stop the criminal activity and the narcotics on the streets. So thank y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Item 4.1, resolution number 678-21, a resolution accepting the 8-inch water line extension along Albertsons Parkway as being substantially complete. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Mr. Daniel Hutchinson with Como Engineering. Is Daniel here tonight? Yes. Welcome, Daniel.
Good evening. This would be the 8-inch water line extension along Albertsons Parkway, which loops in the LUS water to the old part of town water. So it now wraps that in and completes the loop.
Is it under the railroad tracks,
Yes, sir.
that project? You satisfied with the work that was done
Yes,
by
sir.
the
Everything was good.
contractor?
Me and Mel did a So final walkthrough, everything's good with it.
And so it's currently online and serving the system?
Yes, it's online.
Thank you, Daniel. Tina, is there any public comment?
No public comments.
Council discussion or questions for Daniel?
Question.
District three,
Yes.
District four,
Yes.
District five.
Yes.
District six.
Yay.
At large. District one. Yes. District two.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.2, resolution number 679-21, a resolution accepting the dedication of Cypress Meadows subdivision Phase 3B1, streets and/or servitudes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Mr. Mel Bertrand is going to report on this tonight. We had an error on the agenda. It is not Mr. Daniel. Welcome, Mel.
Good evening, everybody. I did a walkthrough, we did the walkthrough on this particular subdivision, everything looks good, we got the videos of the, sewer and drainage. I'd like to recommend, acceptance with a contingency. I spoke to the engineer, and I recommended that he lower the pond level by about a foot, because at the current level of the pond, that it's causing some water to back up into the drainage system. And I'm afraid that with this water sitting in the drainage system, it will cause, some siltation in the future. So he agreed with me. He is looking into it, and they're supposed to lower that culvert in the near future. So I recommend acceptance. Everything else looks good. I recommend acceptance with that contingency.
Gerald, is that possible? The council can accept, as long as that is done?
I think what we should do is get something in writing from the developer where they acknowledge the condition and agree to comply. And we can do a short little agreement on that.
Absolutely. I can get with the, engineer tomorrow and have him provide us with something in writing.
Okay, so the acceptance would be contingent on that and something in writing.
Correct.
A foot is gonna back up into the system?
Well, Kenny, it'll always do that. If it comes up, that'll happen anywhere. But I'm concerned, like right now, when it's not raining, the water level's staying a foot higher than it needs to be. So if we lower that level, then it lets all of that water come out of the drainage system whenever it's dry. In a rain event, the pond's gonna come up, it'll back up into the system. It's inevitable, that's what it does. But we want it to dry out when the rain stops falling. We want that stuff to get out of there. We don't want that water sitting there, because if it sits there, the silt will fall out into the culverts, and eventually it'll cause the
So
culverts
this
to
is a dry
silt up.
pond? It's a dry pond?
No, it's a wet pond, but they're just holding the elevation a little bit higher than they need to.
And this is a significant pond. This is a large pond.
It is, but it's a relatively easy fix. It's just a matter of cutting the levee. This pond sits on a coulee, so they're just gonna cut the levee, lower the existing outfall pipe by a foot, and backfill it. It's not a tough fix at all.
Mel, you remember phases 1 and 2, we had the silting issue in the culverts. Y'all did an inspection on those culverts in phase 3?
Correct. Yes, we
We
did.
don't have any silt built up like we did before?
No, and that particular silt, Kenny, comes in when they're building the subdivision, and there's construction going on everywhere, and there's bare ground everywhere. But we have been doing a real good job of staying on top. Ben's been helping with this, staying on top with the silt fencing, and that's where that problem comes in. This is kind of a different problem, so we don't want to compound the problems by having water sitting in the culverts. So when construction starts, as we've been doing, we'll stay on top of the silt fencing to stop that silt from getting into the drainage system. And this will stop another problem from happening, which is the water backing up and dropping silt into the system.
Yes, Ben has been a big help since we've had him on board with all this construction back there. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. Yeah.
I recommend accepting with the contingency that we get something in writing from the engineer. Correct.
Any other council discussion?
No public comment. Question. District four,
Yes.
District five,
Yes.
District six.
Yay.
At large. District one. Yes. District two.
Yeah.
District three.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.3, resolution number 680-21, a resolution authorizing execution of the agreement for extension and improvements for state project number H014622, Saint Nazaire Road Extension LA 96 to Corn Road. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
So Mr. Ben Terrio is gonna report to the council on this item as well.
So this is a project that DOTD has actually approached us. It would extend Saint Nazaire from its existing at 96 to Corn Road. And this resolution will allow the mayor to sign an agreement that will move to the next step, which is they got to look at environmental issues. They have to look at a bunch of, it's not going to cost us anything, but it's going to move to the next step. So it is a possibility that this road could be extended. There's no definite layout. There's none of that has been done at this time. It's just, we're trying to move to the next level. It's about $6 million that's allocated towards this project.
So Ben, if I could add this, so the MPO, I think the council's familiar with the MPO project, which is what this is.
Correct.
The extension of Saint Nazaire to Ambassador Caffrey at Corn Road. The MPO has been working on this project for two and a half years, I would say. They've committed $6 million to the first phase. It's cost the city nothing to work through this. It's a project they think is necessary, but we have to just do paperwork every once in a while to keep the project moving with them, make sure that the council's, in agreement. The next level of funding for phase 2 will come up later this year, Ben, is that correct? Or
The
early part of
application-
next year?
Application goes in December 15th.
So we have been unable to attain funding for Part B because we haven't been far enough in the process. This is helping us get to that next part. We'll stand in front of the MPO board at that time and make our case for the project again. But it's federal money, so there's a lot of red tape to go through, environmental studies, traffic studies, all of it. So we're crossing, that project would cross the railroad tracks. It would cross 182. It's a complicated project, but well worth it for Broussard's future if we can get federal money to pay for it.
Right.
So
And phase 1 actually handles the environmental and some of the engineering for the entire project. So that, we'll know if the project will be feasible before we go too far into phase 2 and we start spending any money, because they'll have this environmental set up. That's the benefit of the way phase 1 was set up.
So, an approval on this resolution just gives me the authority to sign the
To sign.
document so the MPO can keep doing what they're doing, a continuation of the project, nothing
Correct.
more than that.
Correct.
Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
Mayor, when we had, done these projects and put out a long-term plan, we had this in a 10-year plan. Do y'all see this moving quicker than that now with the money being,
I don't know that
offered
it
up by
would
them?
move.
Mayor, you know?
It's hard to say because we're dependent on the MPO voting phase 2 in funding and then the council meeting the match. So they still have a lot of work to do. They haven't even committed to a line on a map yet of exactly where the road would be. And then right-of-way acquisitions would be after that. And we'd be using a federal process for everything. They were clear. You're right, Kenny. They said, give us a project that 10 years from now you want complete. So, we thought this was a good fit for it. I think that's probably a pretty accurate timeline before that road would be open and usable for traffic.
So nothing fast-tracked, anything, this is gonna take the whole process.
Yeah.
It's gonna take time. Yes, sir.
They've excluded wetlands through that project, but there are some struggles with the railroad tracks and crossing 182 and a roundabout there, how traffic would stack. But we're still at a very kind of a 5,000-foot look at that. And, they're gonna make the recommendations on what kind of road works there, traffic studies, et cetera. But, we're just kind of moving the ball as they move it and letting them work on the project. If you remember even further back than that, we had $5 million, $3 million, I can't remember, $4 or $5 million. That MPO money was tied up in a downtown Broussard, that was gonna 3-lane Main Street in downtown Broussard, but we had state money and federal money wrapped up, tangled together, and both processes are different, and we couldn't do that. It was confusing the situation. And when downtown Broussard became what it is today, to slow traffic down and make it more of a walkable, usable downtown, the federal money got shifted to another project to move more traffic, which is what the MPO is interested in. Move traffic, move cars, and this project kind of fits their model. But I would believe it's a 10-year project.
Well, if we go over the tracks and over 182, it'd be nice.
Yes, it's a big undertaking,
Well,
but
it would be
it
another
would be
expense.
nice.
If you could raise that, elevate that over the tracks and not even have to worry about the crossing.
Well, I don't know how they would, they're not looking at it being done that way right now. They're looking at a roundabout, but if the MPO is willing to invest $10 or so million in the city of Broussard,
Can we suggest that?
that's what they are doing. They're committed to 6 so far for phase 1. So phase 2 is, we don't have a target on that yet.
As they move through the process, Kenny, that's when they're gonna decide how these intersections and overpasses are gonna work. They don't have it locked down yet. Like I said, we have to continue the process. We gotta get this resolution taken care of so that we can move to the next step where they can go into the environmental setup and they can go to, preliminary layout and stuff like that. So it won't be until a little bit further down on how these intersections are actually designed.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Any further council discussion?
Question?
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large. District 1. Yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.4, resolution number 681-21, a resolution authorizing acceptance of the project for LCDBG 2020 sewer system project as being substantially complete. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move. Second.
Mr. Daniels back with Como Engineering to give us a report.
This is the sewer rehab project that we did in the old part of town, where we were able to go on private properties that qualified to fix holes in their line, and also do fix faulty taps in the middle of the road and all that. And we have ran out of the money, and the project is substantially complete. We used all of the money. We did a walkthrough, Mel and I did a walkthrough. They've pretty much addressed everything, and it's ready to be substantially complete. Yeah, they did. Yeah, some of the streets were, they have a lot of patches on them.
Yeah, I think a lot of the work was done in Mr. Michael's district. and,
Yes, sir.
They finally got patched over with asphalt.
Yes, sir.
They'll be good enough until we can pave those roads permanently.
Yes, sir.
Tina, is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any further questions for Daniel?
Question?
District 6, at large. District 1. Yes. District 2.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.5, resolution number 682-21, a resolution pertaining to the Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Environmental Audit Report required for Louisiana Pollution Discharge Elimination Systems, permit number LA 0020613. Do we have a motion to approve? Mr. Daniel, you back to give us a report on this item?
This resolution is pretty much accepting the report. It's, you have to do a resolution to accept the report and send it to DEQ. And it's something we're required to do every year.
And that is your recommendation to this council?
Yes, sir.
Is there any public comment, Tina?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
Question?
At large. District 1. Yes. District 2.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6.
Yay.
Motion carries.
Item 4.6, resolution number 683-21, a resolution to abandon the existing public drainage easement on the sides and rear of the Safe Source property located on Lake Talon Road. Do we have a motion to approve? Mr. Mel? Welcome back.
Good evening again. Last week I met with Councilman Delahousie and Councilman Higginbotham on site at the Safe Source Development. And they have to do some things as far as providing gas to their facility. And in order to do so, they have to put a gauging station, and it would fall right into an existing drainage easement that we had. That being said, we investigated the drainage easement beyond the building. And at this time, we feel no need to maintain that drainage easement, and the developer agrees. This drainage easement originated when the development was first done, and it was subdivided into many different lots. Since then, this development has purchased this whole stretch, so they're gonna maintain the backside of their building. It's on the backside of their building, and we honestly don't wanna have anything to do back there because there's gonna be a bunch of stuff going on, and they have said that they would rather maintain that drainage than have us do it.
They're only draining themselves, right? Mel?
Absolutely, they're only draining themselves, so, I think this is the right thing to do as far as abandoning this drainage easement. It would help everybody involved.
Tina, do you have any public comment?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
District one? Yes. District two?
Yes.
District three?
Yes.
District four?
Yes.
District five?
Yes.
District six?
Yay.
At large? Motion carries.
Item 5.1, ordinance number 21-708, an ordinance amending the 2021-2022 operating budget of revenues and expenditures to increase the recreational expenditures up to $41,000 to install a splash pad cover at St. Julian Sports Complex. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I move.
Sorry, Mel, should I ask you to wait? If you could report to the council, please.
Not a problem. I was asked by the mayor to meet with, some contractors to give us a cost on, installing a cover over the splash pad. I think as everybody's aware, it's kind of a hazard area when kids are on a splash pad and you get a foul ball, it could potentially hit somebody. So I met out there with, 3 contractors. In fact, one of them did an engineering, view of the, as you can see on the screen, of the proposed top. So I got 3 quotes from 3 different contractors, and the lowest quote was by Commercial Construction. At this time, I recommend that we accept this quote to do this work.
Mel, could you describe the structure for the council and for the record, please?
It's 5 poles and some just simple netting that will stop a ball from falling onto the splash pad, and it'll be lean so that the ball will roll off gently to the edge where they can catch it.
And I believe cushions on the poles. Kids
Correct.
will be running around.
Exactly. There'll be cushions on the poles so that nobody runs into them and gets hurt. Not at this time. It's a little bit smaller than that issue. Right. Yeah. Correct. Not a whole lot. I think they're gonna core as opposed to busting. They'll core and put the poles in the core poles.
Tina, do you have any public comment?
No public comments.
Council discussion or questions for Mel?
District two?
Yes.
District three?
Yes.
District four?
Yes.
District five?
Yes.
District six?
Yeah.
At large? District one? Yes. Motion carries.
Item 5.2, ordinance number 21-709, an ordinance amending the Broussard Code of Ordinances in order to implement the latest version of each of several building codes and provide for the future update of same. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I move. Second.
Chief Chompon is here tonight to report to the council. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you. This is a update to our current ordinance, adding a couple of billing codes. We've been working with Cooney to make sure that we add the correct billing codes. This is all, formality to, informing the Fire Prevention Bureau that we are working on. The Fire Prevention Bureau will help us with the rating. So this is all some steps that, we're taking, to get everything in line.
So accepting these codes is all part of us getting prepared for our next PIL rating.
Correct, correct.
Tina, do you have public comment?
No public comments.
Questions or discussion with, Chief Chompon?
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large. District 1. Yes. District 2,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Chief. Item 5.3, ordinance number 21-710, an ordinance of the City Council amending the 2021-2022 operating budget of revenues and expenditures to increase authorized expenditures in capital outlay expense up to $74,000 for the Southwood Drive and South Cruz Avenue Road reconstruction project. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Mel is back to, report to the council on this item.
Yes, this item came in, $74,000 over what we'd expected it to come in. There's a couple of factors involved in that. The, pricing that we had gotten was approximately 6 months ago. It was a project that we had done, a reconstruction project, and, we used those costs at that time. Since then, as y'all are aware, price of fuel has shot up drastically. And asphalt has the price of asphalt directly coincides with the price of fuel. So that's one of the factors. And also, upon investigation, the contractors noticed that there was a substantial amount of existing old patching on Cruz and Southwood Drive that needs to be pulled out during construction. So that added some cost to it as well. But the lion's share of the additional cost is the cost of asphalt. That's where that overrun comes in.
Tina, is there any public comment?
No public comment.
I'll just confirm for the record with, our CFO, Mrs. Fontenot, that, this is a St. Martin Parish, area project to support Safe Source Direct, so we'd be using our most restrictive fund to fund this. Thank you. Any council discussion?
Question.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large. District 1. Yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
motion carries.
Ordinances for adoption. Item 6.1, ordinance number 21-707, an ordinance of the City Council amending the 2021-2022 operating budget of revenues and expenditures to increase authorized expenditures by $119,250 for the purchase of police equipment. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I'll move.
Second.
So this item was taken up at our last meeting. It's, tasers and one vehicle, fully equipped vehicle for our police department. Comfortable with that explanation, Chief? Any public comment, Tina?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large. District 1. Yes. District 2.
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
motion carries.
That was the last item on our agenda. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Please drive safely and have a wonderful evening. Meeting adjourned.